Okay. So anyway, so it's changed my life so much. Changed my life so much.
Yeah.
Just, you never know what you have until it's gone.
Sure.
And just your everyday tasks that you think nothing about. I mean, I was an animal corporate person. I worked crazy hours. I was the fixer in the family. I was the one who I did so much in a day's, and just throughout the day, that to do nothing and not even be able to make my food is traumatizing.
Yeah. Because everything's taken away in one fell swoop.
Yes.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Don't Punish Pain. I'm Claudia Merandi and I'll be your host. So what happens when a person with a chronic disease cannot find a doctor who's willing to treat their illness? Millions of pain patients continue to suffer because they can't find a doctor who's willing to treat their pain appropriately. Today's guest is one of those people. Her name is Connie. She is a breast cancer survivor, and she's been sadly diagnosed with MS. Welcome to the show, Connie.
Hi, Claudia. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So you're diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Right.
You're seeing a doctor in Massachusetts, and the Massachusetts doctor tells you, I can't treat your pain because I'll lose my license.
Right.
Here you are, you're a breast cancer survivor.
Sorry, I'm laughing. It's not funny, but it's just so ridiculous. Yes.
You've had 8 surgeries related to your breast cancer. Your MS pain was worse.
Yes.
That it was the worst pain in your life. And now we have a neurologist. That's who you're seeing.
Yes.
And he can't treat your pain.
He said no.
Okay. What happened?
He would lose his license if he was, and to talk to my primary care.
Yeah. So it's always bounce back. Let's try the primary care physician. And I really believe that a primary care physician should be treating a person's pain. So a patient's not running, all over the country.
Right.
Some people have to drive 200 miles to find a compassionate doctor. So
I'm sure
the neurologist bails on you.
Right.
You are on a maintenance medication for your MS.
I do something called Ocrevus. So yeah, it's supposed to reduce inflammation, but it's nothing to do with pain.
Okay. And how are you doing with that medication?
Well, the way MS works is you have lesions on your brain and your spine. The ones that you have once you are diagnosed are there to keep. You can't fix them. So what the medication does is to try to stop the progression of it. It's progressive disease. It's ugly, it's gross, it's not going to go away. So they want it not to get worse. But what you have is what you're kind of stuck with for the most part. So that's, that's the way it works as far as the MS goes.
So Connie, can you tell us about the pain that comes along with having an MS diagnosis?
Well, for me, I know MS is different for everyone. It was the worst pain I've ever had. And the reason it is the worst pain I've ever had, because it seemed like the pain that someone has when they slip a disc or, sciatica pain. However, nothing happened to as a catalyst to that. It wasn't like I broke my leg, I hurt my back, I have a lumbar issue, or, just one day I woke up and I have always had back pain and it was bad, but it hit me like out of nowhere and it didn't go away no matter what I did. So yes, I did everything I could. The doctors told me, because I knew they weren't going to prescribe pain medication to me. So I took.
Who diagnosed you?
So I had a doctor in Rhode Island and then I went to Massachusetts. So Mass General is my current doctor.
You were fortunate. You were able to find a doctor for the time being who's willing to treat your pain. Now that you're able to receive medication, have you been able to get out of bed, contribute to society, eat, stay awake, and not suffer? What's your life like with pain medication?
Right. So prior to that, I literally spent a year in bed. And sorry, I'm not going to cry on you, Claudia.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a lot to deal with. I understand.
So, okay. So anyway, so it's changed my life so much.
Mm-hmm.
Changed my life so much.
Yeah.
Just, you never know what you have until it's gone.
Sure.
And just your everyday tasks that you think nothing about. I mean, I was an animal corporate person. I worked crazy hours. I was the fixer in the family. I was the one who I did so much in a day's, and just throughout the day, that to do nothing and not even be able to make my food is traumatizing.
Yeah. Because everything's taken away in one fell swoop.
Yes. So basically, it's life changing. And what you're doing obviously is amazing, because, I'm also terrified that that's going to stop.
Sure.
That this change, and I, and it's like I take the medication and I don't feel, because I mean, you're fed these lies so much that you almost start to believe them. Like, oh my God, maybe I am going to whatever. But,
that's so true, right? Then you start saying, oh, well, maybe the medication is changing my brain chemistry, and maybe my pain isn't real. And then when you stop taking the medication, you're like, no, that pain is real, because now I'm back
exactly.
But because of these hate organizations, these anti-opioid crusaders, like PROP, Physicians for Responsible Opioid Prescribing, they have taken away your ability to live a good life. And the government has tackled it like, well, we know what's best for you.
Right. Well, we know that's not true, but
absolutely. And it has to end. This is,
I mean, I can't tell you how much that is my one wish. If I had a genie, this, I mean, it's unfortunately driven by greed and money. And I know this, but when it comes to your home and your well-being and your life, and that hits you right there, and you're like, wow, you people really this is messed up. Like, this is not okay. Like, it's not, I'm a contributing member to society. So you want me to not contribute and be in my bed all day on disability. I mean, what I'm saying is, like, here I am trying to figure out if I can go back to work because I want to, and pay, not that I like paying taxes, but that's what I'll be doing. But so no, you're going to keep me an invalid essentially, and not have me a productive member of society, giving back in other ways. I mean, contributing to the economy.
Sure.
That alone, we need people to be buying houses. So it's an outrage. And, I am, doing everything that I can to try to advance the message that this is not true.
Right. And we appreciate your help, because you do have a background in marketing, and we've had this discussion. The only way this will change for our country, I believe, is with litigation, because our country only responds to litigation, with legislation, which we do have in Rhode Island, education, and I do believe this will change, but not for a few years at least, because there's so many money grubbing sociopaths out there who continue to profit off of your tears. And it's just
well, look at, I mean, just in marijuana in itself is an example of that. Okay, now that's not my thing. It's great for whatever, if it hurt. I mean, if it helps other people with pain and cancer patients, great. I have no problem with that. I never did. But now all of a sudden the government says, oh, we can make money with this. And now it's okay. And now every doctor is telling, I mean, it's so almost like Twilight Zone-ish if you think about it. People went to jail for an ounce of weed for, a year. I don't know how many years ago it was that they basically legalized it. So it's just like, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's money. It's money, money, money. It's not necessarily always what's best for, well, I mean, don't get me started, but that's not the driving factor here at all.
No.
What's best for me. No.
And I know some doctors who would never mention cannabis, and now they're like, well, have you tried cannabis? Even Senator Whitehouse's office, I almost feel like when I called, like, well, we gave you cannabis. What more do you want?
Well, they gave themselves cannabis because they're making the money off it. So technically it's not like, well, thanks, but you're also profiting. So, and it's, yeah.
And a lot of people can't afford cannabis.
And it's extremely expensive. Yes.
It's very expensive. And my elderly community, they said, I advocated for one little old lady. She said, oh, my mouth is dry. and I'm very tired. She said, but I'm still in a lot of pain. I said, of course you are, because it doesn't work for pain like yours. It's not effective to treat chronic intractable pain. It's great to stimulate the appetite. It's great to relax people, but for pain like yours, it's not useful. And there's very little data to support otherwise. But
exactly. Right. I mean, like I said, but I think the pain was so intense that, I mean, maybe if it was mild to moderate pain, it would have helped, but it didn't. So, you know, I gave it a good shot. I gave 2 weeks of trying, and each time I went there, it was like $200, and, you know, whatever, it's worth it for the pain. You know, I would do anything, drink gasoline, you know, to like make the pain go away. But to your point, and our point is just that I had 4 healthcare professionals say to me, have you tried smoking marijuana? Have you tried smoking? I'm like, what? Like, really? Like, this is exactly what you're saying. You know, this is exactly what we're saying. It's not about, you know, it's not about your well-being. It's not about, you know, as far as, you know, what's legal and what's not.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Let's talk about, you know, when I was at my lowest point, I became very depressed. I remember taking my kids to school and always having everything's fine. You know, there's no problems here, because I was embarrassed. I didn't like people to see me vulnerable. And I have the feeling that you're the same type of person. We don't, a lot of women, we don't like to show our vulnerability. And I think in my deepest, one of my darkest days, and I remember this, I just remember staring outside the window, looking at a tree. And I would do that for hours until my kids would get out of school, because depression comes with being sick, right?
Absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't be depressed in your bed all day when you go from you're seeing, and then COVID on top of it, but that's not really it. I mean, even if COVID didn't exist, it would probably make me more depressed because I wasn't able to travel when everybody else could, you know? So of course I had plans to end my life if this was what my life was going to be.
Right.
And that sounds intense and crazy, but it's how many people do you know? Well, people do know, but how statistically chronically ill patients will commit suicide if not treated?
Yeah.
Because who wants, like, how can you live like that?
Claudia, he says, well, that's bogus. That's because the medication is making them suicidal.
No. Well, why don't we should give him the same pain and see what he says, how he likes it.
And that's,
you know, only walk a mile in my shoes before you can talk.
These are psychiatrists who espouse these theories. Oh, that's bogus. People with pain don't take their lives. They're emotionally pain. Their pain is emotional. It's just so wrong.
Well, because they have no actual experience. How can you speak to something like that? And have never had the same experience.
They're making so much money.
Oh, well, I know that's why, but I'm just saying,
they help themselves. They can't give me more money. How much more?
I know. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, the fact, even that people that believe them is kind of frustrating, because it's like, how does this guy, and I hope society is going to start to shift and realize that what you cannot believe everything you read. You cannot believe everything you see. There is an agenda there. Yeah. And, you know, it took me even a while to realize it too. I mean, it's not like something I thought about until I had to.
Absolutely. And we have a saying, you're unaffected until you're affected. And boy, oh boy, when you're affected, people call me and they said, I never thought I would have to reach out to you. This is happening to me now. Yeah. And they're watching their loved ones suffer. You know, the depression is real. I remember thinking, I think I'd be better off if I wasn't here. I'm a burden.
Absolutely. You feel like that. It's because you are. I mean, I am. I don't, you know, I had to live with my family now. I'm 43 years old. And I was, you know, now I said, I'm still, you know, struggling. You know, it's not like I'm 100% better, but I'm so much better. But meaning, like, I don't know that I could really, my energy level is not like it used to be at all. And I still do have pain, but it's just not as severe, as I said. But my family has to, like, help me and take me places and drive me to my doctor's appointments. And, you know, it's, I don't want to be that girl. Like, I want to take care of people. You know, so it ties in. If you're not depressed already, it's really hard to live a life like that. And unless you are in space somewhere in your head and not be depressed. I mean, so I was extremely, and I can't tell you how much more hopefulness I have, at least, like I said, in the time that I'm on this medication. I worry that it's going to stop any day now. So I worry about that. But while I'm on it, while it's happening, it's life changing. So, you know, I fear it. I fear the.
Yeah, you have to walk around with the guillotine over your head.
Oh, it's Damocles sword. It's like when's the shoe going to drop? Because especially with things actually happening, like pharmacies closing down, like, you know, like they're right behind the, you know, right ready to pounce in the bush. So the few doctors that are pioneers or that are brave enough to do it are going to be, at least it's only a matter of time. That's how I feel like, you know, before they get shut down.
Yeah, these are courageous doctors. Unfortunately, in Rhode Island, we're seeing people in hospice, palliative care, people with acute injuries, broken femurs, kidney stones. Nobody's being treated because of the opioid elimination industry. This is a big business. There's a lot of money in suffering. One of our researchers sent me a link for they were touting flotation devices as opioid sparing. I said, let me tell you something.
Wait, floating device meaning you get on a float and feel better?
A flotation device. I said, let me tell you, if I ever advocate for an elderly person and a doctor asks, have you tried a flotation device? You better friggin' hope that you're a good swimmer, because you won't survive. If a doctor ever mentioned a flotation device to me,
my God, I'd be out. I mean, that is also why you have these doctors people also put them on this pedestal. And I'm not saying that there aren't great doctors out there, but there are some really bad doctors.
Yeah.
That will tell you whatever you want, tell you anything, because they can't be wrong. They can't look like they don't know something.
Sure.
Well, they have to always.
They can't be honest. They can't be honest and say, I'm afraid to prescribe. I don't want to lose my license. I'm afraid. And I have more respect.
Oh, yeah. They won't say that. No.
Right. And I tell a doctor, I'll have more respect for you if you're honest. And when they finally, I don't want to lose my license, I'm afraid. Now I can respect you. What happened when you went to your primary care physician?
Basically, I had waited so long. I tried so many different things, and I tried heat and cold. Just so I give you the list: hot and cold. I tried every anti-inflammatory. I tried marijuana. I can't tell you how many doctors are on that boat now, telling me to smoke pot. So I was like, all right, it's not my thing, but I'll try it. And for me, it was like, oh, I'm high and my back hurts, so great. Just like, but anyway, so I tried everything, and I just asked, I said, listen, I know, but can you please just prescribe me one, just once. Cause I and so he did once, and gave me 20 Vicodin or whatever at low dose. And I took it for a week and a half, because it was only 20 pills, and, it was very low dose, like I said. And it was the best, it was like life-changing, because I felt I'd get out of my bed, it was life-changing.
And that's what this medication does. It affords you the ability to live a quality-filled life. But
right.
A crisis you did not create, Connie. Now you're not in the streets looking for heroin, and that's what the media puts it out there, that we're all searching for heroin because we took pain medication, and so today's heroin users are yesterday's OxyContin users, and there's more and more data supporting that it's not true. It's just another lie. Americans have been lied to.
I know,
and it's people like you who are being mistreated. You never create this crisis, but your life is taken away from you. You're a breast cancer survivor. You have severe MS pain, and your neurologist, who apparently doesn't have a spine, said, "Well, I can't treat that." And we understand doctors are afraid, but this is bad.
It's an outrage that I don't even have the words for, because pain and suffering has been going on since the beginning of time. This isn't in our heads. So enough of that it's a psychological thing. No, it's pain. And if you read the data on MS, half of or more of MS patients are suffering with chronic pain. So right there. Okay. So to ignore that is, to me, beyond inhumane, because we now have the medications to treat it. Back in the day when we didn't, we ether and drink some alcohol like that was terrible. But now we have medications to treat it, where you can take it on a low dose throughout the day. You're not high, you're not stumbling, you're not a mess. You're just able to function. And that's it. That's all I wanted.
That's it. You just want to be able to
function.
So let's go back just about 5 or 10 years. You were thriving, you were in the marketing business, you're doing great, and your life slowly starts to change. You told me that you're a cancer survivor.
Yes. So I've been, working professional since I was 21. I has been a go-getter. I've lived everywhere. I've lived in New York. I've lived in LA. I've lived in Boston. I just had a very active life, traveled a lot. So at 31, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, which was horrible. And it came back on the right. So at first it was on the right side. It came back on the left side when I was 34. So I decided to get a mastectomy and reconstruction. So I had probably 8 surgeries in total, meaning just to keep it perfect, because that's like a type A kind of person I am. So, but to that point, I know what suffering is, and I know pain, and I know pain medication. So, after these surgeries, they prescribed the pain medication to me, and I would take it. And when it was over, it was over. And,
Can I ask you, back at that time, did you have difficulty getting pain medication?
Not well. So when I was, when I was diagnosed, it was the year Michael Jackson died. So that was 11 years ago, I believe. It was not bad in the beginning, but it slowly started to change. So I'd say and then it came back when I was 34. So the surgeries, I'd say with plastic surgery, it's a little different. Like, they're not lenient, but I'd say they maybe aren't as strict as some other doctors, which is odd to me. Like I've said to you before, I have family that have had surgeries that have been given such small amounts of pain medications for, back surgery. So, but I know over time, things have gotten so much stricter because doctors have been communicating that to me. Say, if I ask for, could I have another, for one of these surgeries, like another prescription, because I'm still in pain. All right. But that's, the last one you're going to get. It's like, okay. So, in your head, something's changing, and it's a slow evolution. But I know, I can't say the day I knew it was happening, but it just over time got more and more restricted. Like,
and can I ask you, Connie, did you become addicted to that medication when you were taking it to men? Of course. So, right.
Well, the reason I did not also is because I know where it goes. You know what I mean? Like, for me, it's relaxing, but it's also tiring, and it's not exactly something that I'm going to be productive on if I take too much of it. Meaning, at the time, it was just to recover from surgery. And I know that if I'm going to keep seeking this medication, it's going to go nowhere except me having, a really bad outcome. So I did not get addicted. No, I've had so many surgeries and never been addicted. No.
Okay. So you took it like millions of Americans, and when you no longer needed it, you stopped taking it. So
exactly.
you survived the cancer.
Yes.
And then you receive another diagnosis.
Right. Never. It's, the universe. I don't know what they want from me. But so let's see. So after all those surgeries, I literally had my last surgery last September, and I was diagnosed in November with MS. And it didn't happen overnight. It was a year of symptoms that I knew something was wrong with me. Extreme fatigue, chronic pain. Like, I had just, basically had a car accident in my sleep, and it continued and didn't go away. So I knew something was wrong.
The opioid free gimmicks, they're everywhere. Your pain is real. I feel your pain, and I've got your back. Well,
I can't tell you how glad I am that we've met, because we didn't have people like you. And now I'm going to strive to be one of them, getting the word out there that this was not created by prescription medication. Maybe a couple of people, but do you know how many people that I've known in the last, I don't know how many years, that are like my family? My parents don't drink, they don't smoke, they don't swear. They have trouble when they have surgery getting medication, because the doctor was like, oh, I'm sorry, this is the most pain. My mother had back surgery, and he wanted to give her like 40 pills. And that's, major back surgery is a lot of rehabilitation and months to recover from that.
Sure.
And it was like my mother.
Right. And you need medication to recover. I said it before, there's one surgeon who's still prescribing, and that's plastic surgeons, because that's word of mouth. Right. I love that.
So I was right. Yeah. Say that again.
I said, I love plastic surgery. And when I have any kind of surgery done, the day my plastic surgeon says, oh, I don't treat pain, that's the day I say no to plastic surgery. And I've been very honest about it. But
that would be even more depressed. I mean, because then you can't even look better to feel better. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Oh God, I hope, but yeah, they still are. But still, even with the plastic surgeons, there's still, like, I remember when I first had breast cancer, when I first had my first surgery, they gave me the prescription the day before so I could go home with my medication. Those were the dates. I mean, it's not like I downed the bottle before I had surgery just for fun. Yeah. No, I just waited to have surgery and took it afterwards.
Now you have to drive to the surgeon.
Yeah.
When you have blood coming out of all of your...
When you're decapitated, maybe.
Yes. And your ass, and the pharmacist is like, oh, I can't fill this. Are you opioid naive? Have you tried Tylenol? And it's this...
Flintstones?
It's draconian.
It is absurd. It is almost to the point where, are these people joking right now? Is this like a major like punk on the universe the earth? Because wait a minute. So people in hospice are going to go out. It's going to be zombies now coming out of their graves because they want more, heroin. So you don't want to treat people with pain medication before they die because they become addicts. Like, what are you talking about? This is bizarre world.
Yeah. Jane Ballantyne, Andrew Kolodny, David Gerling, Mark Sullivan, their theory is, well, better off dead than addicted. And that's,
but they're dying anyway. I don't understand that. Is that what they say?
Yeah. Well, they just believe you're better off dead than addicted. And we support harm reduction. And you need harm reduction to slow down the overdosing crisis. And, so
wait a second. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to surely understand these, these methodologies. Better off dead than addicted. So what does that mean? Meaning we want people to kill themselves before they try heroin, or they want can you explain what they mean by better off dead than addicted?
That even if you take pain medication just for a few days, you'll become addicted and then your life is destroyed. So less exposure in their mind means less addiction. People don't become addicts. People don't use because they're happy and they're living wonderful lives.
No.
I've advocated for.
Absolutely. I have nothing. I totally support. I mean, addiction is a lot of self-medicating, meaning you have something else going on in your life that you are trying to numb the pain.
Yeah.
But that's still, even if that is the case, what about people being, given the rights to make that decision? If I want to be an addict, I should be able to be an addict. I'm sorry. I said it. Meaning I'm a human being. I have decision-making like I can make decisions. If that's, then that's on me. Let me go to. I don't need Big Brother telling me what to do, what to take, what not to touch. If I have all the information and I know, then let me make that risk. And it's on me.
Right. But now we have adults and the government is making decisions for adults. Well, we're only going to give you 3 pain pills because we don't think you can take it responsibly. But we have professional members, they're receiving medication to treat their pain and they're receiving their sleeping aids so they can sleep at night. I'm so glad you stopped in and you spent some time with me. We're going to tackle this together. We're going to fight this together.
People, seriously, it's time to
keep fighting. I'll keep fighting. Folks, if you liked this episode of Don't Punish Pain, once again, don't forget to click like, hit subscribe, and share your thoughts. Leave a review for us. Have a great day, everybody.
Fine. Thanks, Claudia.
Great interview. I just had a great interview with a lady, Connie. She's from my home state. We're both in Rhode Island. Connie is a cancer survivor, and then she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and her doctor was letting her suffer. What's Connie going to do? How is she going to battle her multiple sclerosis illness, and how can we help her get the medication? Don't forget, if you like this episode, click like, and don't forget to subscribe, and we want to hear what you have to say.